G'day guys, and welcome to the live stream. And this live, I'm thinking of actually doing this weekly and doing an actual live show. I've got a couple of names. I'll wait till a few people get logged on and tuned in, but the Joe Lagowski Golf Show or Your Sim World with Joe Lagowski Golf. Those are the two names that I'm thinking of potentially using for this Sunday segment. It's going to go for an hour every Sunday. Times will alternate. So sometimes I will do this early and, sometimes I'll do it a little bit later. I'll try and cater for different parts of the world. So I know I've got a lot of UK viewers. So for people in the UK, I'm going to need to do this a little bit earlier. And then the US, it's kind of not too bad with Australia and the US, so I should be good for time zones. But yeah, let me get all started. I think I am live, but I'll just wait for a few people to get tuned in. I've just got to figure out, I'm having a few technical difficulties. Let me see. I've got to figure out how to get the actual text up. So there was a pop out. Here we go. Lovely. Some messages coming in now. I need to figure out how to get my text back. Ben did show me how to get my text box up, but I cannot remember how to do it for the life of me. But we'll try and play around with it. I'll hit up Ben in a second in a message and just say, how do I do this? Because I've completely forgotten. All right. That's good. Chad's online, which is awesome because one of the main talking points today is going to be the Nova Golf Launch Monitor, or entertainment system. So that's going to be one of the main talking points. So it's awesome to have Chad in the chat, which is fantastic. He'll be able to answer a lot of questions. But yeah, so the idea with this Sunday live is I plan on doing, like I said, a weekly live for an hour and then just talking through things sim golf. So I've got a few talking points today, but in the future, what I'm going to do is with the Facebook group, I'm going to basically put in there, a post in there that'll just say, right, give me some questions, give me some talking points for the next live, and then we can use those as talking points. So got a few Judds in the chat as well. Fantastic to see. Happy New Year from Tom. Thanks, mate. Happy New Year to you. And yeah, these lives are going to be a thing for 2025. YouTube chat menu, stack 3 dots, pop out chat. Yes. Okay. YouTube chat menu. Let me see. See if I can get this. Pop out chat. Right. Thank you, Chad. You have saved me. And I should be able to get it from here. And then we go into this menu. I'll quickly change you guys to this view. And we want to enter that. And then hopefully, there we go. That live chat is working now. Fantastic. And what I'll do is I'll add it to this window as well. Okay, cool. We have the chat now on the main page as well. Fantastic. G'day, Glenn. Good to hear from you again. Like Belfast, it amazes me. It honestly amazes me the reach this channel has. It's fantastic. Yeah. So, yeah. The Nova, I think, well, I know Chad and Taylor announced the first few members that were going to get their actual Novas on the tour that they're doing. So that was announced live on their Discord, I believe yesterday. But yeah, there's a few lucky people getting drawn. I know Bull Pride, Mike was first. I'm sure he's excited. You've got the Colonel. You got Dis and Rude Falconer. So yeah, that's going to be awesome to see those units get out there. And we also have Taylor in the chat. Fantastic. So I guess talking points today, I wanted to obviously touch on the Nova. I think a lot of people have questions about the Nova, and what's fantastic is both Taylor and Chad are giving up their time as well in this hour to answer questions. So if you've got any questions on Nova, I guess that'll be the main talking point. I'll get set up in GS Pro and just start hitting some shots. And I guess the first thing to touch on that I didn't really touch on in my last video at Wildflower was the actual shot delay that was happening. And now it seems to be like, I mean, greatly improved. What I might do actually is I might head out to on-course practice and we'll go out to the facility and we'll go Sunday blue and we'll go hit a few chip shots. We'll go hit a few putts. And I just want to show you guys the initial videos I made with the Nova, there was a bit of a shot delay. However, now, I haven't even talked to Chad about this, but it seems he's done something and the shot delay is greatly reduced, which is good to see. So potentially the all that data and diagnostics collecting is potentially been taken away, but we'll see. G'day, Dan. Thank you for making it. It is fantastic to see. Okay, so, that chat's going to be over the menu. Let me just move that down so you guys can see it. Maybe we will move it up here. Right, so I'll hit a few chip shots. I have got the Nova on. We'll just go to hole 18. I'll just hit a few chip shots and yeah, hopefully the chat can get going and some questions come in. So you can see that even with that chip shot, the delay has gotten significantly reduced. Go in. I know this chip shot too well from my rounds. Are you excited for TGL? Absolutely. I cannot wait for the TGL. I think home golf and simulator golf is going to boom. I really do think it will when the TGL comes out. I think 2025 for sim golf is going to be massive, and I can just see it exploding even more than it already is. It's already on an upwards trajectory, and I can just imagine 2025 for sim golf, I think, is going to be huge. What I should do actually for these lives is I should just project the comments just down on the floor in front of me. I think I might do that. Chad saying to Judd, our beta was in February. Did you sign up for the tour raffle? I know. Yeah, the venue, that's crazy, isn't it? But when you see that venue, you can kind of see why. Like if that thing collapsed, I mean, there's a lot of structure there. What I'll do is I'll hit a few putts as well. Yeah, I haven't even checked timings, to be honest. I should jump on and check timings for TGL. So putting, I had a few comments with putting in my previous video at Wildflower saying the putting is not accurate, and that couldn't be further from the truth. I just want to clarify, the putting with the Nova is accurate. It's fantastic. The one thing I noted to Chad and Taylor was the ball speeds that the unit was capturing was different to my Pro T. I have done a head-to-head test, and it turns out my suspicions are absolutely confirmed. The Pro T is reading quite well higher than the Nova. Then I put the GC3 in the mix because I thought, why not just put that in the mix? The GC3 seemed to sit right in the middle of the two units. So it seems like the Pro T on shorter putts, this is, so putts within, I mean, I haven't done the extensive testing, but putts within about 20 feet, the Pro T reads them quick. The GC3 was somewhere in the middle, and then the Nova was slightly lower than the GC3. So it's interesting. It's only on the short parts. When I went outside to about 40 feet or over 20 feet, they all three of them seem to start of a line. So it's funny. All right, so I'll hit a couple of putts. We've got 13 feet. And with speeds as well, with putting speeds, yes, you want them to be as accurate as possible. The good thing is all three launch monitors were accurate within their own parameters. So the Nova was super accurate and consistent with the speeds it read. The GC3 was, and the Pro T was. So all three of them were consistent just in their own three worlds. So yes, ball speeds might be wrong with the Pro T, with the Nova, with the GC3, but they're all super consistent. So what I guess I'm getting at is whichever unit you get, you're going to get used to it. Oh, it's incredible, Brandon. Like realistically, the last 2 years, even since I started my sim, the only entry-level unit was the Garmin R10. The Mevo Plus was the next big one, both radar-based units. What has boomed in the last year especially is photometric-based units, and it's just incredible. The amount of... I think people realize that radar has limitations indoors, and so these photometric-based units have just boomed, and it's really cool to see all of these new ones. My thoughts are for the next few years, maybe, we'll see a lot of companies, a lot of startups doing photometric-based units, and then in the end, obviously the ones that don't make it and don't continue to improve are going to start to drop off, and you'll get those real good entry-level launch monitors that just keep getting better and better, and they'll become, you know, the GC2s of old. Nice. Okay, so you can't see the chat on the phone. That's interesting. Good to see you, Jez. What projector am I using? I have the BenQ LK936ST. Catchy name, as all BenQ projectors, the names are, but yeah, it's the BenQ, and it's fantastic. It's a 4K laser projector. BenQ have just come out with a new projector, actually, or they're coming out with a new projector. Sam was telling me about it, and he's going to go to it. And they're a lot more affordable. This one is quite expensive, but the new ones coming out are more affordable. So I've got a talking point as well that I wanted to bring up. I actually have a video on this. I haven't edited it yet. I filmed it yesterday, but I guess one of the main talking points about today I wanted to talk about was actually GS Pro and the new proposed putting changes. So I don't know if people have heard about them. If you're on the Discord, you would have heard about them, but I'll bring it up now. So I'll talk about these putting changes real quick because this is very interesting what they're proposing, and it makes sense to me and I agree with it, but I'd love to get your thoughts. I'll just jump into the Discord chat now. Tier 1 announcements. If anyone wants to follow along at home, it's in the SGT Discord, and if you go to Tier 1 announcements, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So the proposed putting changes. They are going to, so putting assist in GS Pro, if I go up to the settings, I'll show you where is the putting. If I go to, is it course setup? No. Practice settings maybe? No. This new menu does my head in. I just want everything on one page. Let me know what you guys think. Realism. Where is it? Where is putting assist? This is what absolutely Scoring and assistant. Here we go. Right. Putting assistance. The chat's in the way. Let me show you that. So putting assistance there, you can see. What that is in GS Pro is it used to be, I'll go back to this screen. So it used to be within 6 feet, within 6 miles an hour. So with my putting chart on Stimp 13, that's 24 feet. So 6 miles an hour or less, if your ball's traveling that speed, you would get a putting assist. And that is their algorithm which massages the horizontal launch angle of the actual golf ball. The proposed change, so what people are saying is putting's too easy on GS Pro and people make too many putts from, what range did they specify? It was about 20 feet, so say 20 feet. 9 to 20 feet, people are making too many putts. So the proposed putting changes for GS Pro are to reduce the range or the speed at which that putting assist kicks in. So instead of the old 6 miles an hour, they're talking about making it 4.5 miles an hour, which, let me get my chart, that is going to make it on Stimp 13, 15 feet. If you're playing on Stimp 11, it's going to be 12 feet. So they're talking about reducing that horizontal launch angle assist in GS Pro for putting. Now, I personally think that's a really good idea because I do think putting, you do make a lot of putts. You make a lot more putts than you do outdoors. There's a few reasons for that. One of them is because of this assist, but there's also other things that happen outdoors other than just, you know, indoors. So indoors, GS Pro and all these softwares are using horizontal launch angle and ball speed, and those are the two metrics they're taking into account. Outdoors, you're going to have vertical launch angle and you're going to have spin and also spin axis, and that's going to cause skid and roll. So the ball is going to skid and roll depending on how you launch the ball, depending on what spin you put on the ball, how much loft your putter has, do you add dynamic loft? So there's a lot more things outdoors that go on that they can't really simulate indoors, because if they wanted to do that, everyone would have to have a baseline, would all have to have like a quintic putting system, which is just, no one's going to be able to have that at home unless you're like a club fitter. So to make it easy, all these softwares just use horizontal launch angle and ball speed, and they don't take skid and roll into account. So with these proposed changes, and I think this is coming because when GS Pro was first started, this is just world according to me, the people that founded GS Pro came from Jack Nicklaus Perfect Golf, and they all had GC2s. They were kind of the launch monitor to get. Now, GC2s have horizontal launch angle issues with slower ball speeds. So I think they made it that 6 miles an hour because that was the cutoff distance where the GC2 would actually start to get accurate with horizontal launch angle. Now they're reducing it. And I think they're doing this because launch monitors are getting better. And to be honest, I think a lot of people don't need as much assist because launch monitor and technologies are getting better. But it's just interesting because there's still people with GC2s out there. And look, I'm sure they would have done testing and maybe they've retested and they've come up with, you know, this new speed based on a GC2, but who knows? It's just, it's an interesting discussion. And yeah, I think I'm on board. I think it's a fantastic idea, but yeah, it's just interesting. It is very interesting. That was a lot of talking. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me catch up with these comments. Right, we have, yeah, cool. I wonder if there is a common set of data / algorithm out there from Jez. G'day, Retro Boy. Cool. Looks like Chad's helping out Jez with his phone. I started with the Garmin R10 myself with lots of help from you, Joe. Now have the iMini Lite. Tom, yeah. The iMini Lite, I haven't tested it myself, but I would absolutely love to, because the iMini, I think now is fantastic. Everyone knows the struggles I had on my channel. I was very upfront and open with the struggles I had with the iMini, but I do think it's in a really good place now. It just is really interesting, the iMini Lite. What I found interesting was I've since found out, and I've only found this out from a subscriber, but it's someone who I trust. And he sent me an email that he got from Unicore. So I need to confirm with Unicore directly, but he got an email from Unicore saying that the iMini Lite and the iMini don't actually share the same hardware, which I found really interesting because it's called the iMini Lite. So you'd think it'd have the same camera system and things like that, but the iMini Lite actually shares the common cameras with the overhead, the, what is it called? The IXO2. So I just found that really interesting. I'd love to test the iMini Lite because I was referring to them as the same family because I figured they'd be the same hardware, but apparently they're not. So I do need to test one of those, but I've heard amazing things about the iMini Lite. And I mean, Unicore's a well-established company, and the price they're doing it, like I said in my last live, they are priced aggressively. So they're fantastic for what you get. What are your thoughts on Apex versus GS Pro? Yeah, so the Apex, I have seen videos of it. I haven't actually tested Apex myself. I looked into it, but I have to get a product license, which they're quite expensive. And so I haven't pulled the trigger yet. Potentially it's something I'll do later in the year, but looking at the physics of Apex, the physics don't look as good as GS Pro, but the graphics do look fantastic. And I think what kind of helps Apex with those graphics is everything's controlled by them in that central, they're controlling all the graphics, they're controlling everything. Whereas with GS Pro, one of the amazing things about it, but also one of the things that can also hinder it is people are building the courses for GS Pro. So say if, a course gets built by CE Sim Golf or Greg McDonald, you know that you're like, man, that is going to look amazing. Whereas if you're someone like myself who just wants to build my home course, or I want to play, Kingsbarns or something, and I want to build that and just do it as a first-time builder, it's not going to look as good as those guys who are well-established, top of the tier designers. So it's just different. It's just different. What I think GS Pro has going for it is the community and the courses. I mean, there's thousands of courses now on GS Pro. It's just incredible. Okay, I am going to try and catch up. So okay, use it through the app. Don't use the website, Jez is saying. Alec, love your channel. Thanks, Alec. I really appreciate that. High handicapper, working to get better, but worried I'm not getting accurate numbers. So I haven't used the square for a while. The last video I did on it was the last time I used it. But what I will say is I think it's a fantastic device, but like I've said in all my videos, I do see spin numbers fluctuate. In terms of how accurate it is, I do think it's accurate, but you're going to get misreads. So it's not going to be as accurate as, say, like a Unicore iMini Lite or, one of these well-established launch monitors, but they're going to work to get it better and better. I have got a couple of videos planned with it coming up, but I need to wait for them to update it so I can actually show off the estimated spin axis and spin. So I'm waiting for them to update that. I also have the ball dots. So I'm going to do a video showing the ball dots. I've actually done a hybrid golf ball. So I've taken a TP5X, and I'm just going to see how I go with this. I've just put this pattern on the golf ball and then nothing else anywhere. So I'm going to see if I can line this up with the unit and actually get accurate numbers just having that on the ball facing the unit. I've also got, I'll pull these up. Let me find them. I have sent to me by Sean and Max, the guys who make the Rapsodo ball dots. They've sent me a bunch of these. So these are based on the three-piece golf ball design, and then these ones are based on the two-piece golf ball design. So the dots are just spaced differently, which again I found interesting. The two different golf balls have two different spacings. So I will be testing that out in the future. It was interesting learning the behind-the-scenes putting stuff. Yeah, so I did actually, after the rounds that I filmed in the Kapalua, I actually did a putting video and just talked about how I practice my putting indoors. I'm yet to edit it, and I probably will. But yeah, stay tuned for that. I filmed a few putting videos the other day. I did how I practice putting indoors. I just literally filmed myself doing a practice session. So if people find that interesting, I can edit and upload that. I did one, I actually did a video just for the Nova guys comparing the ball speeds. And then I did another putting video. I can't remember what it was now. But yeah, I've done a couple of putting videos recently. I really believe that you can get better at putting in your simulator indoors. We recommend no HLA adjustment on at all on putting. In fact, HLA assist ruins natural style aiming, where you aim the putter and not. Yes, so Chad, that's a massive point. So right now in my room, well, I always aim in the virtual world, but what Chad's saying is if you turn off, let me turn off putting assist. So if I go in, oh man, I got to find it again. It does my head in. Where was it? Round settings, scoring assistant. So if I turn off putting assistance, what Chad is saying there is if I drop this ball where there's a bit of break, if you have putting assistance turned on and you try and aim in your sim room just on your mat, then the actual putting assistance is going to ruin the actual horizontal launch angle in the virtual world. So what Chad's saying is instead of having it on, turn it off and then aim in your room. So instead of me lining it up and hitting a dead straight putt every time, what he's saying is just visually look at the hole, look at the break and go 12 feet and actually aim left in your sim room and then hit the putt. So that's what he's saying. And then you've got your horizontal launch angle there being -2.5. I didn't hit that hard enough, but as you can see, if I had putting assistance turned on, that would have massaged that horizontal launch angle to maybe 0.3 or 0.4, and then the ball's not going to start on line. Have you heard of any more MLM2 beta releases? No, so there is actually one MLM2 beta release that I haven't even downloaded onto my iPad yet, and there is one currently going at the moment, but no big ones, no major things. They give a 10-day free trial for Apex now. Okay, I did not know that. I checked maybe 2 months ago, and I didn't see that 10-day free trial, so I'll definitely jump on and have a look. Thanks for that, Dan. I'll put that in my notes. We'll see if we can get that. That'd be good. Any news on game day? It was supposed to come out Q4 2024. Yep. I have tested game day and look, I haven't played it recently. The last time I played it was maybe 6 months ago, I'm going to say. I wasn't allowed to film anything and release it. I might have filmed a few things and not actually edited it yet, but I have played game day. I have used it. The graphics are insane. Like the graphics are really good. They've kind of taken a page out of Trackman's book and they're going to the actual courses, taking pictures, taking drone video flyovers, and the graphics look insane. However, the gameplay itself is still very cartoony. It's the gameplay is it's like if you were going to go to a simulator if you were going to go to a simulator place, like a commercial facility, and I told them this, I said, this software is good for a commercial facility. Even the way it's set out, you've got to have a second screen that you can interact with, and then you've got your actual game on another screen. So you've got to have dual monitors and stuff. It's just, it's not as intuitive as GS Pro, I guess. I told them, I said, this would be good in a commercial facility. That was my feedback. Alec, I think you are referring to the Square, and you can. I'm under the impression it still needs to be updated because I tried to film a video where I just used a normal golf ball and I tried to do with the club stickers on and get the estimated spin. It was defaulting everything to driver. So when I filmed the video, even my lob wedge would say like 3,000 backspin, because what I emailed Square and they basically said that there's an issue behind the scenes that they have to fix that is making everything default to driver in GS Pro. So yeah, I've got to talk to them. I'll see if it is fixed, and if it is, I will I'll definitely do that video sooner rather than later. GS Pro linked with SGL is just next. SGL. What's SGL? GS Pro linked with SGL. What's SGL? Golf. Hi, Joe. Top job as usual. Thanks, mate. I really appreciate that. So, best launch monitor the last 2 years I've tested. That's a really, really hard question. In the last 2 years that I've tested, it's so tough, because the thing with launch monitors is they get these firmware updates and they get better over time. Oh, SGT, cool, yeah, yeah. GS Pro linked with SGT is just next level, yeah. Oh, the leagues are fantastic, and yeah, Ben from Triple Bogey Golf, he's awesome. He is such a good dude. He's helped me a lot with my computer issues that I have. Best launch monitor I've tested in the last 2 years. That is so tough. I think the one that stands out to me that just shocked me, that I was really surprised by, was the Pro T. And the reason for that is because I didn't think that I would love overhead launch monitors as much as I do. I always thought that I would end up with a Foresight GC3 or a quad. And I still do want to get a quad for the channel to test all the other launch monitors against. That's still a goal for 2025. But overheads, that video the Pro T does is just so valuable. So that's probably, and it's so easy as well. It connects to GS Pro easily. So that's probably my favorite launch monitor, if I'm being honest. And then the one that surprised me the most, MLM2 Pro is incredible. The thing about the MLM2 Pro is it came out, and yes, it had a bunch of issues, like connection issues and all these major issues. The data accuracy from that unit is incredible. It is absolutely incredible. It's so accurate. So that surprised me how accurate the MLM2 Pro was. For the Square, do you think it'll get better with, yes, I do believe the Square will get better and better with updates. I do firmly believe that. But this is the hard thing, is you just never know. But I personally believe it will get a lot better with updates. We've already seen them implement a few updates, and it has gotten better already. So yes, I do think it will get better. Jez is saying, I think people need to understand that with entry-level tech, there's always going to be margins of error with data. As prices climb, the margins will get narrower. Yeah, absolutely, Jez. That's a really fantastic comment. Fantastic comment. And yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. Yeah. I think everyone's searching for that holy grail launch monitor that is affordable and it works. It connects to GS Pro. It's a photometric-based unit that costs $1,000. That is the dream. I think with the Nova and with the Square, these things are getting closer and closer. It's only going to be a matter of time. And I know the Nova boys are working hard. They're capturing all this data. They're working hard to get this thing to be that unit. And I believe it can be. Yeah, absolutely. Captured spin is the key. All right, let's, does the Nova connect with Awesome Golf? I wish it did. That would be cool. My kids love Awesome Golf. And honestly, I was using it yesterday. It's good fun. It is actually good fun. Dan saying you called Apex. Okay, I will, I'll email them. I'll definitely email them. And I'll see. The thing is, with this channel, I love, obviously, getting units and getting things is desirable. but I don't want them to give me a license and then me feeling like I have, you know, anything to owe them. I don't like that. I'd rather just pay for it and then just speak my mind. So, but I'll see if they do a free trial. That'd be interesting. Yeah. And Taylor saying they're open to any integrations that the community requests, which is fantastic. Okay, there's so many questions. Let's get back on track. Nova, that is the topic for today. We've talked about the putting changes. We've talked a little bit of Nova, but not a lot. So I guess that's the questions now. Let's open up the floor to questions about Nova. I wish I could do a left-handed demonstration, but I'll probably hit one of my many projectors. I'll try and do just a little chip. Let's do that. And I'll hit over. I've never done this. This could go very badly. Because you can use this thing in a... I wonder if I need to select. I probably need to select left-handed. This could go bad. Left-handed. Let's see how we go. Here we go. 11 yards. And there you go. Takes off. So that's the first time live demonstration I've done it. Was pushed a bit. There you go. We'll go a bit harder. Try not to hit something. Shanked it. It picks up shanks. I think I need to buy a left-handed club. So there you go. Lefty is all good. Yeah, the design is unlike anything I've seen, and the touch bar, I think there's some cool stuff that's going to come to the touch bar. Does the size of the Nova distract in any way? No, it really doesn't. The actual size, it's such a low profile. It's like a golf ball. When you compare it, let me get this thing out. So when you compare it to something like this sitting by the side of your ball, now, you'll get used to any launch monitor that you use. So even the Garmin R50 is massive. It's ridiculous. You'll get used to it, but it's just, it'll take time. But this compared to the Nova, when you've got something like an iMini sitting there, that's something that you really notice in your sim room. And even with the kids coming in here and hitting balls, you really notice that unit, and you really I get protective over it, and I'm like, please don't shank a ball into it. But yeah, the actual Nova is very low profile. Yeah. Just joined. Is there any idea of Australian pricing? Great question. I'll defer to the guys. I know that they're just doing the US only at the moment in terms of the tour that they're doing. I'm not sure about Australian pricing and even when they're going to be released to Australia. I got no idea, sorry. I will defer to Chad and Taylor. But I would love to talk to them about Australian distribution if, you know, when the time's right. Flying Fat Kid, I can't wait to try the Nova, yeah. It's definitely a launch monitor that, I mean, it kind of hasn't come out of nowhere. It was, I mean, they had the Discord chat for a long time, but I guess it has come out of nowhere for a lot of people. So Dan's saying, I'm going to put an overhead launch monitor in. Don't want to break the bank. Maybe 4 to 5K USD. Yep. Pro T. I mean, what's the Pro T in the States? I think it's $6,000, someone said the other day. foam balls with specific compensations for each club in sim software like Square. Oh, you'd say the Nova allowing for foam balls? I'm not sure. Let me see. I have a foam ball. Where did I put those? All right. I've got I forget what these are, Psycor golf balls, I think, the Psycors. Let's do a few chip shots. What's Chad saying? International pricing will be the same as US converted. Fantastic. Yep. Okay, there you go. Chad's saying they've got an almost golf ball mode in development. Yeah, that's good. I know for myself as well, if I want to practice at night, I have to use these Psycors or almost golf balls. Let's see if we can do a chip with the Psycor. I mean, it registered the shot. I don't know how accurate it's going to be because there's not a lot to lock onto. But, I mean, yeah. It seems to be registering it. Let's actually try and do like the proper 11-yard chip. Might be a bit hard. No, that's pretty good. Everything seems to be working with that. I'll hit a longer club. I'll hit a 7-iron and we'll just see. Yeah, it registered the shot. Try and hit a big cut. So spin axis is going to be the big thing there. So negative 58.7. It does register them though. So, and Chad said they're working on a almost golf ball or almost golf mode. On GS Pro, what are your kids' favorite courses? Yeah, I use a lot of them, to be honest. Like the Jurassic Par 3, I played that the other day. So my son liked that. He likes there's another dinosaur course. I can't remember what it's called. Clarkson's Farm is one that they've played a fair bit. But it's always hard with GS Pro because it's so real. Whereas when my kids play, they always just want to play awesome golf. They love playing those games where you what's that game called? The sinkhole game where you have to hit the golf ball and have the houses sink into it. They love playing all those games. But there's only 4 of them. This is where awesome golf, I think they could really get a lot more people if they did more games. I think games are something that they could really do. Yeah, noise suppression, absolutely. 6.5 grand for Pro T with 2-year GS Pro license. I mean, yeah, that's hard to beat for an overhead. It'd be interesting to see if any other launch monitor companies come out with an overhead unit. The PGA show is going to be exciting. I'd probably wait till the PGA show, Dan, and then I'd make my decision from there. But even if someone else comes out with an overhead, you've got to remember that it's probably going to take them at least a year for the unit to actually start performing well. And that just seems to be the way with launch monitors these days. So, yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So, yeah, Chad said almost golf balls are the brand that allow you to control drills and fades. Something about them grips the club face better during impact. Yeah, well, saying that, the Psycor does have like a hard plastic shell where the almost golf balls are more of a foam ball. I do have some awesome golf balls. I just don't know where they are. They might be behind the sheet somewhere. I'll have to find them and get them out. What's the case of the Nova made of? Will you need a protective case? So Dan, that's a great question. Chad will be able to talk about this more, but they actually did a lot of testing with the actual Nova, and it's made of like this really, it feels like high-end quality, like it feels like a soft touch plastic. Do you remember your phones? The old Nexus phones were made of that soft touch plastic. I don't know if you used those before. It's kind of made of that plastic. And then where people are going to hit the unit, they did a lot of testing. It actually has a metal like shank tank around just the part that gets hit. Funnily enough, my son yesterday did shank a ball into it, and it did hit the metal plate that they have on there. So they did the testing, and guess what? It actually worked. So I was really excited. I'll let the guys know. What course has the Top Golf range? There is a Top Golf range on GS Pro, and you're a member of the channel, Jez, so I'll send that to you. There's actually a Top Golf range. But a lot of courses do have driving ranges with games. So if you go to the Central Park courses, go to the driving range at the Central Park courses. There's heaps of games. There's one, I forget the name of it. There's a driving range that is actually the Unicorn. It looks exactly like the Unicorn range. I forget the name of it. There's a couple of good ones. So the multi-sport overhead, I have seen those, and I've also seen a guy on Facebook who has like an arcade, like shooting style, like hunting game as well. I don't know how he's done it, but yeah, that does look really cool. Riverwalk, that's the one. That's the one I was thinking of. Thank you, Jonathan. Riverwalk is the one I was thinking of. Okay, let's do some more shots with the Nova. Let's move a bit further away. And there you go. Chad's going to answer some questions now. It was actually a toe hit. It wasn't a shank. So he's actually correct in saying that. So my son hit it yesterday. It was like a toe shank. He hit it so far out the toe that it went into it. How long is the Nova unit? Chad will be able to answer that, but I will also measure it. I think I have my tape measure here. It is just over 34 inches long. Or if you want to know the metric, it's 87 centimeters long. Just check that. 34, yeah, 87. Cool. And it's only about 5 centimeters wide. Smaller than you thought? Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I'll let Chad talk about that sort of stuff if he wants. I know the Discord probably has a lot of information on it. G'day, DP. Thanks for that. Again, Central Alberta, it's just crazy, isn't it? The reach this channel has is just unbelievable. Does it need a leveling stand from Jay? No, it doesn't. Again, I'll let Chad and Taylor talk about it. I believe it has a sensor in there that just calibrates. How big is the hitting area? That is a great question. So, from what the guys have told me, 25 to 35 centimeters is the optimal range that they're targeting for this launch monitor. The actual, handicap golf, Mitch is in the house. That's cool to see. The floor projection, yeah, I know. The floor projection's awesome. And I've got to thank Ben from Triple Bogey Golf, but I do love the floor projection. But yeah, hitting area, Jonathan, they've said that between 25 and 35 centimeters away from the unit. And then in terms of depth, it's quite big. How big exactly it is, I'll defer to Chad and Taylor, but I know that they've got a few different zones that are optimal depending on what you're trying to get. If you go too far away, like I did in my league last week where I had 4 over, I had the unit 45 centimeters away and I was getting heaps of misreads. And so hence the score. Yeah, that's cool. If you watch Handicap Golf Mitch's last video, you'll see I feature in it just at the end. So go check that out. Floor projections, it's so cheap. That's the thing. I mean, I really don't know why I didn't do it, before I did. Ben was on to me for months saying I need to do it. It took me a long time to actually do it. Ben was pestering me for a long time. And I finally did it, and I'm so happy because for the price, it's so good. You can do so much with it. It's not just about having data on your floor. Nice, that's cool, Chad. Lovely. Jay saying send a Nova to Mitch to test. I know there's going to be a few people getting the Novas who are going to be testing them. So stay tuned. I think I have this slightly closed. That was not a good shot. There you go. So, yeah, Chad's replied saying they've got a full tilt sensor. So, yeah, no leveling stand needed. Dan's saying, what would you recommend for a new sim owner as it relates to using a sim to improve? Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people, you can get a simulator and just automatically assume that you're going to improve, but that's not always the case. Just because you do something more, you should get better, but it's not always the case. I think using your sim to practice correctly and appropriately, that's where you're going to get better. And that's where, with the Nova, some of the things that they're going to implement in the software, it's going to kind of teach you how to do that. So, yes, you'll definitely improve by getting a sim. You'll definitely improve, but you've just got to practice the right way. That's cool from Jamie from Idaho. Thanks for all you do. Help me through MLM2 Pro issues. Yeah, nice. That's cool. Thanks for that. I really appreciate it. This channel was kind of founded to do that. It was to help people with their sims. So I really appreciate that. It's good to hear that that's actually what it's doing. And Iceman saying it's so cold here he can't use his because he needs to heat his garage up. It's the opposite here. It was 40 degrees Celsius 2 days ago. It was 33 yesterday and humid, and it's about 33 and humid today. It is seriously hot in my garage right now. I need the opposite. I need like an AC unit. I'm thinking of putting an AC unit in my garage. When will we see an overhead unit with a built-in projector? I don't know if I would want that, to be honest, because if one thing breaks, you'd kind of have to replace the whole thing. I think having them separate is good, personally. Flying Fat Kid, the pro team made me feel worse by showing how bad my striking is. That video blows my mind. Even myself, I'll hit a shot and I'll go, oh, I healed that. And then I'll look at the video replay and I haven't. I've just hit it thin. It's incredible what you learn by that video. The overhead video is just incredible. And what's cool with the Nova is you can actually link up videos through Kinevere or OBS. And so you can actually get an overhead replay going with the Nova. A lot of, I explained this in a video, but with those softwares, they relied on having an audio like capture source, hearing the strike set to a certain decibel level to trigger the cameras. But with the Nova, they've integrated with those softwares. So you can actually hit a shot and then it will automatically show you the replay. I'm going to try and get that set up in the future, so stay tuned. Waiting for the ice storm. Oh no. Alex saying, you and Ben really enabled me to build my sim. That's awesome. Thank you. Thanks for that. It's awesome to hear that feedback and just know that we're actually helping people. That's the one thing I wanted to do with this channel, was help people and not put out just fake, reviews on things. I want to actually put out honest, real reviews that people can look at the launch monitors and go, this is actually what I'm going to get, not an infomercial and then me trying to make money off selling them. That's the biggest thing I don't want to become. Will the Nova be available within the next few months? Great question. I know they've just started their tour and they're doing their world tour. I don't know if they're going to be available within the next few months. That's a great question. I'd say no, but I'm not sure. Definitely stay tuned on the Discord and also their website, because all the information gets put up there. What's the Nova website? I'm just seeing black looking sim. So they do have a website. I linked it in my Nova video, but what I'll do is I'll leave it in the description of this video once I've finished filming and sorting out all the other stuff. Thanks, Jez. I really appreciate that. I do think these lives are the way forward to actually interact and talk to people, because the reason I say that, I'm getting so many questions now, I just can't keep up. And I do apologize. I try and keep up with questions and emails. I see emails come in and they just come in. And it's just, for me to sort through and get through all those emails is just so hard. And there's one guy in particular who sends me these detailed, amazing emails about the practice facility and about these things. And I really just don't have the time to get back to everybody. I wish I did. But yeah, I think these videos are going forward are going to be the best thing. We do offer images on the dashboard as well. Yeah, so Taylor's absolutely correct. So you do have the dashboard. Let me pull that up, because you do have images on the dashboard. And I'll just get this. Let me just hit a shot. And I'll show you this dashboard. I think I've shown this on the channel before. Just hit a quick shot and wait for the dashboard to catch up. Cool. So you do have the dashboard there that shows you the images from that previous shot. That's a web page, so you can log on to any web browser you want, and you can get this data. Nice. Chad saying, can't wait for you to test the cameras. That's cool. Yeah, that is fantastic. I can't wait to, I'll have to invest some time. I do have a couple of cameras that I can use. I've just got this camera This is, the only thing about this is it's not a global shutter camera, but it is a 1080p camera with a zoom lens. So I'm potentially going to mount that on the ceiling, just pointing down towards my hitting area, and then I'll be able to use this to capture stuff for the Nova. All right, we have, that is an hour. So I'm going to need to wrap this up very soon. I'm actually playing a clans match after this, so I'll just catch up on the bottom of the questions, and then we'll wrap this up. And Flying Fat Kid is, they're predicting snow. Oh man. That is cold. What are the computer requirements for Nova? Great question. I think the computer requirements, if you just want to use their web portal, you can just use anything, like an iPad or a phone or anything. But if you want to run GS Pro, that's when you're going to have to actually get a computer that can handle GS Pro, not just the Nova. Okay. And Dan said, I'm basically copying everything you do for your sim. Thanks for all your hard work. I really appreciate that. Okay, screen length and width. Dan, go check out my BenQ video that I did on the LK936 ST. Check out that video. If you skip forward, I actually show you how to set a custom resolution on your computer that then will go to your projector. You've got to have an NVIDIA graphics card or a, what's the other, I forget the other one. Anyway, you've got to have a dedicated graphics card that allows you to adjust your custom aspect ratio, but check out that video because I do actually show you how to do that in that video. Do you have a recommended camera to capture club impact? Great question. Stay tuned because I will, in the future, I actually have in most of my videos now linked all of my equipment that I'm using. You're going to want to get like a 120 frame, like Caton camera of some sorts. You probably want one with a zoom lens like the one I just showed. You'll probably want a zoom lens on there so you can adjust it because you don't really want a wide impact view. You want to be zoomed in on your impact area. So you're going to want something with a bit of a zoom. Okay, that is going to be it for the live stream. I'll have to wrap this up. Are you planning on creating your YouTube videos in 4K? That's, man, 4K. I'd love to. The camera I have can do it. The issue is file sizes. I'm still editing on my iPad at the moment. One of the big things for 2025 is quality. So I want to get a new PC or, sorry, a new computer that I can use to edit. The one in my golf sim, I don't want to use to edit because that way I'd be editing in my garage and it's hot in here. I don't want to do that. So yes, stay tuned. Potentially in 2025, maybe at the end of 2025. File sizes for 4K, huge though. That's the only issue. Yeah, great call by Chad there. I'll end it on that. Feel free to hop in on Discord if you want to chat more. That's fantastic. On that, I will end the live. I'll leave, probably not immediately, but I will link the Nova information such as the Discord and the website. I'll link all that in the channel description. Sorry, in the video description after this video. I do have to play around now, but maybe give me an hour or two and I'll have that stuff in the description of this video. Or you can check out my other Nova videos. I have updated all of my Nova videos to have their Discord link in there. So jump on Discord, head over to the Nova Guys Discord and you'll find all that information there. Spam the heart, everyone. Thanks for that. I really appreciate it. All right, guys, that is it for the live. I'll catch you guys next Sunday. Like I said, this, I don't know if you guys caught the start of it. This is going to be called the Joe Lagowski Golf Show or Your Sim World with Joe Lagowski Golf. So Those are the two names I'm thinking about. Let me know in the comments of this video which one you prefer. I'm leaning towards Your Sim World with Joe Lagowski Golf. The other plug I will quickly talk about is my Instagram. If you're on Instagram and you haven't followed me on Instagram, definitely sign up. I would appreciate if you guys follow me on that as well. All right. Cheers. Thanks for that, Glenn. Dennis, thank you for jumping in, Dennis. You're an absolute legend, and you've been a massive. You're just a really. It's really nice seeing your comments. You're such a positive guy, and I really appreciate it. Yes. So, Dennis, on that, I'm thinking this year, real quick, I'll talk about it. This year, I'm thinking of having 2 live streams, potentially a week. Maybe one will be every fortnight, but this one's going to be one of them. So on Sundays, I want to do Your Sim World with Joe Lagowski Golf. The other live stream I'm thinking of doing is a series called Record Breakers. And so instead of streaming my Tips Tour rounds, I'm going to stream a course record round on one of GS Pro's courses. So that's the other one I'm thinking of doing. Record Breakers and then Sim World, Your Sim World. So those are the 2 series that I'm going to start this year. I'm going to keep the Chasing Glory series alive. I will do that and I'll edit those videos because I think that editing them is, to me, I think editing them is just cleaner. So, but I will have Record Breakers and then Your Sim World. So that's the goal. And Jez, so Jez is saying Sim World. He came up with the name, so he gets the credit. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope to see your comments in the comment section of the video. Let me know the name that you want to see. I see Your Sim World is getting a lot of love. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the